Welcome back to another YouTube video. It's your girl Krissy Cela here, and I'm in Hitchin at Body Ethics, which is one of my favorite gyms, and I'm so thankful to the man behind me, Shane, for letting me record here so I can produce the best possible content to help you along your fitness journey. Now, this is by far one of my favorite videos I've ever thought of and ever recorded. I wish I had this video when I first started my fitness journey, because it would have made life a little bit more easier and it would have made a bit more sense. Now, this video is my 5 top tips that I need you to start utilizing on your lower body days. Now, these tips are not nutritional based and they're not scientific based. These are my 5 personal tips that have completely changed my lower body day. So if you find this video helpful, I need you to hit that thumbs up button and also subscribe to this channel so I can make fitness simple for you, because it really is simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it. And if you found it helpful, let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate your love and support always and forever. So without further ado, is tip number 1, baby. The first tip, it has to be based on one of my favorite exercises in the world, but an exercise that took me so long to get right. I used to feel it on my lower back. I used to never really feel it on my hamstring. I never used to really progress with my weight, and always my grip would slide. So I never knew if I was doing this exercise right. It is the RDL. Now, this exercise doesn't need to be complex, and these tips are really gonna help up your game when you're next doing this movement. And if you're on the Strong program on the Tony Scott app, this movement is one of your foundational movements, so you need to perfect it in order to progress. The first thing I need you to do is get in the correct stance and positioning. Now, we've discussed this before in other videos. So normally about shoulder width apart, but this time I need you to slightly rotate your feet outwards, just a little bit, not completely like a sumo stance, just a slight tilt. I need you to get comfortable. So, having your feet completely parallel forward and your knees forward, completely fine. Keep doing that. But something that's really helped me, and a little tweak that's gone a long way, externally rotating your feet slightly outwards, pushing your knees outwards, rolling the weight down. That's one tip when it comes to RDLs. Another tip that a dear friend of mine gave me is to imagine someone is pulling you at the heel. So if you're imagining someone's yanking you at the heel, it's gonna help you contract your hamstrings much more. And it also helps stabilize your movement, so you're not coming up on your tippy toes. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so I've got my weights here. If I'm just coming forward, I can easily bring my heels up because the weight is pushing me up. Now, if I'm bending my knees slightly and dragging my heels back as if someone's pulling me, I'm gonna naturally want to hinge further back, feel it on my hamstrings more, my tippy toes might come up, which is completely fine, bring the weight back up. So, 2, imagine someone is pulling you at the heel. Now, the final tip I'm gonna give you with RDLs is the best tip, and that is to bend your knees. Back in the day, I'll insert some videos here, I used to be completely stiff. Now, what would happen is, by being completely stiff, sure, I'm gonna feel it on my hamstring, but I'm also gonna feel it on my lower back, and it's gonna make me round my back as well. By bending your knees, so we're bending now, just like so, externally rotating your feet outwards, pushing your knees out, you have a more solidified stance. Now imagine someone's dragging you back, you're gonna sit back, hinge back, and then bring the weight back up. Never over hyperextending. So let me make it simple for you. Number 1, slight external rotation, knees popped out just slightly. Number 2, imagine someone is dragging you by the heel, which is gonna help you contract your hamstring more. And number 3, a slight bend to the knees will help you hinge backwards, contract your glutes and your hamstrings more, control the weight before bringing it back up. So let's put all of that to the test. The next tip has to be a tip that's not going to be for everyone, but I need you to try it. If you try it and you don't like it, fair. But you can't cut it until you try it. So it's adding a little medicine ball on your back when you're doing leg extensions. Now the reason being, if you're sitting completely back when you do leg extensions, that's fine. Remember, there's nothing wrong with how you're doing it. I'm just here to make it that little bit harder, that little bit better. If you're sitting forward, you're gonna contract your quads much more. Now, seats can be adjusted, but if you're in a gym that your seat can't be adjusted completely upright, just like so, especially if you're short, so I'm 5'3", so I find machines quite awkward at times, I'm gonna add a ball. But the way you add the ball is really important. You're gonna add the ball right here. Not high, not low, right here. And you're gonna squish back into it. I'm completely upright, and it allows me to lean a little bit forward to help me contract my quads much, much more. So watch this. Boom. Perfect. Bring it back down, controlling the weight. You're gonna be holding onto the grips, so you ensure that you're sat flat onto the bench as well, so you're not coming upwards. You're secured in, locked into your seat, holding on, squishing back, boom. Oh my gosh. Now, if I'm moving the ball and leaning back, you're still going to get a contraction. It's still going to be difficult. But leaning forward just adds that little bit more pressure, that little bit more tension, and you're completely locked in, so you're forcing the weight upwards as opposed to just relaxing down like so. Now, like I said, this tip might not be for everyone, but ever since I've been doing that, I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. The contraction I feel in my quads is insane. And I think it's because of that upright position and leaning slightly forward that you're completely locked in and your quads are forced to just contract on a different level. Okay, the next tip is got to do with the leg press. Now, there's variations of ways you can do the leg press. Double leg, high, medium, low, single leg, same, high, medium, low, whatever. But this tip applies to any type of stance that you do. And it's the tip that I wish I knew sooner and I now apply going forward. So, when your feet are in front of you, let's say for the purpose of this video, we're gonna do a mid stance. We're not gonna go high, we're not gonna go low. We're just gonna do a nice neutral middle stance. Now, your knees tend to just be parallel in front of you. What that can cause is your knees to cave in and also a little bit of discomfort. So what I need you to start doing is, number one, externally rotate your feet outwards. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter if you're doing a sumo stance, wide stance, high stance, low stance. I don't want them to be completely parallel and straight. I need just a slight rotation. Number two, where your knee travels is vital. So I don't want your knees to just travel in front of you. I need you to push your knees out and they need to travel towards your shoulder. So not parallel towards your pec and your chest, but this time towards your shoulder. Let me show you what I mean. So we're not just going to have a neutral stance like this. Instead, you're gonna externally rotate your feet a little bit outwards. You're gonna externally rotate your feet slightly outwards, just a little bit, not too much. And you're gonna envision your knee is traveling towards your shoulders to ensure you don't cave in, to ensure there's a deeper drive and there's more depth and tension. Let's go. The next tip is squats. Squats is probably my favorite compound move, absolutely ever. And the more I progress in the gym, the more I realize how much still you have to learn. And I think there's so much pressure on social media Do you know what, especially TikTok, I've noticed since TikTok's been around, there's just so much pressure because people will take your workout and then will just scrutinize it. And it's like, why are we doing that to each other? There's a difference between constructive criticism and helping each other out and saying, hey, look, how about if you try this? It will benefit you this way and this way. But completely ripping someone apart, I just personally don't agree with that. I've never liked that. And I don't know, I'm just not good with that. It doesn't matter if you don't like someone in the industry that you're in. It doesn't matter if you have bad blood. There's just stuff you just don't do as humans. And I feel like when someone's trying to progress and evolve in their journey, especially with something so personal like training and fitness, you shouldn't scrutinize them. And if they've done something wrong, then politely either message them or find ways to better communicate. Because I just feel like sometimes people are oblivious to if they're doing something wrong, and we should help better the situation, not make it worse and make them feel silly. So I just want that to be a reminder, like, you're not supposed to know everything. You're not supposed to get everything right. People have been training for 15, 20, 30 years and are still learning every single day on the job. You can read journals, you can read articles, you can go to personal training, school and get a qualification like I have, but you're still learning on the job because you're figuring out how your body moves and what best suits you. So just let that be a reminder that you're doing great and that your journey is a long, long, long way to go. So you shouldn't give up. And every single day is a new opportunity to learn. So here is something that I've absolutely loved learning when I've squatted. There's been different levels of me squatting. Here is me 2 years ago. You'll see here, my knees are caving in, my depth isn't great, and I'm really, really jolty. Here is me more recently with pretty much the same weight, a little bit more controlled. My core is more engaged, my knees are pushed out. So you can see there's a big difference here, but that's also taken me 2 years. 2 years, not 2 months, not 2 fucking weeks, 2 years. Just remember that, because I don't want you sitting there going, how did this girl get progress in 2 months? That's insane. Some people take 2 months, some people take 2 years. It's my journey, and that's completely and utterly fine. So, tip for squatting. Now we kind of know the basics. I've already mentioned this in other YouTube videos, where the barbell has to be pretty much on your trap area, not your neck, and not completely down on your back, right around your trap area. We know that your chest should be nice and upright. We know that your back should be straight, your core should be engaged, your knees pushed out, your feet externally rotated outwards, you're coming down into a nice deep stance, and you're pushing out. But what happens when your knees start caving in? What happens when you start losing a bit of balance with your feet? So here's what I need you to do. You're gonna lock yourself in, you're gonna bring the barbell out. This is the best tip that I've ever incorporated when it comes to squats. I'm gonna step slightly back so you can see me. When you are coming down and sitting onto your squat, when you are coming up, I need you to push out again. Did you see that? Let's do that together. When you're coming down on your squat, I need you to push out again with your knees. One more time. You're coming down, I need you to push out again. The reason being is because that double push is going to ensure you don't cave your knees in. So when you're coming up, what you want to avoid is this. Do you see that natural circle? Like that little kind of semicircle that I'm doing with my knees? You want to avoid doing that. So by coming down, pushing out, it's going to completely change your squat game. The final tip, and it's a tip that's probably going to be the most boring tip, but like I said, I wish I knew this before and applied it sooner, and that is to have a proper dynamic warm-up routine. Now, we've all been there. I've thought that doing a whole load of booty activations is going to get me the adequate warm-up I need, and sure, any type of warm-up is a good warm-up, but a proper warm-up is on a completely different level. Dynamically warming up, mobilizing your body, ensuring that your hips are healthy, ensuring that your knees are healthy. The more I mature, the more I grow into my training, the more I understand training, I realize how vulnerable my hips are, how vulnerable my knees are, and how much I really need to look after my upper body as well when I'm doing lower body. Because imagine how much pulling you're doing, how much loading you're doing, your upper body is going to feel that strain too. So that's why it's so important to adequately warm up on your lower body days with dynamic moves. So let me give you an example. A static move is one where you are holding a movement for a longer period of time, just like a quad stretch like this. But a dynamic movement will be something like a lateral side to side squat. It would also be, let's say, a hip rotation to work that ball and socket hinge right here, just like so. To make it even more dynamic, you can come up, stretch up, rotate, stretch up, rotate, stretch up. Remember, a static stretch is you holding a position for a long period of time and stretching a muscle out. I need you to be doing those movements at the end of your workout. But a dynamic stretch is one that ensures you to move in a range of positions to dynamically warm up your joints, your hip flexors, your entire body. So leg swings is perfect. So you hold on to something, swinging your leg, just like so. Squat and reach is a great one as well. You're squatting and reaching up, ensuring that you're getting your whole body warmed up. But another thing that is so important is warming up your core. Your core is the foundation of every move that you do. So something like a dead bug is absolutely incredible for warming up that core, firing up that core and getting it engaged for all those heavy lifts that you're gonna do. Another one is a cat and a cow. So cat and cow, you're gonna be working that spine. So you come up, breathe out, I can't stress enough how I wish I knew how important it was to engage your core before you actually start lifting those heavy weights on your lower body days. I wish I knew how important it was to actually warm up your entire body and not just do loads of little activations for my glutes. And I wish I knew the importance of stretching at the end with static stretching and warming up with dynamic movements and mobility right at the beginning. Please don't skip these. I actually spend now 15 minutes warming up at the beginning of my training session. I'm not even joking. I get much more sore. I get much more vulnerable, and I'm lifting more as I'm maturing in the gym and as I'm progressing in the gym. So therefore my body needs a little bit more time mobilizing, recovering. And I can't stress enough how important it is to just take some time to understand why your body needs to warm up properly. It's not just about injury. There's so much more benefits to it. So that's it, guys. 5 tips I need you to start incorporating on your lower body days that are going to completely change your lower body game. Now also, to kickstart your fitness journey, I'm very excited because me and Toner Sculpt are going to be giving away 5 one-year memberships to our Tone and Sculpt app to kickstart you into 2022. And with that being said, we're also hosting our Kickstart Challenge in January with all of our Tone and Sculpt trainers, which I am so freaking excited about. 5 trainers on the Tone and Sculpt app. You have yoga, bar, strength training with Krissy, you have power training with Danielle, and you have Commit Hybrid with Melissa, which is so exciting. Imagine having one little hub, like imagine this, having one little hub where you have everything. You never need to stress over fitness again. That's what the Tone and Sculpt app is. So in order for you to win this giveaway, all I need you to be doing is give this video a thumbs up and be subscribed to my channel. But I also just want you to go and follow Tone and Sculpt app and let me know a way that I can best contact you. So you can pop your contact details down in the comments below. It's as simple as that. I'll pick 5 winners at random, completely random. I just scroll and I go, you're a winner. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you found this video educational, helpful, and also, like always, reassuring. You're doing amazing. You really are. Believe it, own it, and just understand your capabilities absolutely limitless. I love you always and forever and thankful for you always. See you next time.